I hope you all are doing well. And today's topic which we are going to cover, that is your a very important system of your body, the reproductive system. So reproductive, the reproduce, that we have a power not in a one specific type of gender, both, and they combine together with that process. They can reproduce their own species, not in the human beings, with the animals too. So if we talk about the reproductive system, if we go for the next slide here, why do we need to reproduce? To ensure survival of the species, that population, or just multiply we can say, but in the control. To reproduce, to produce egg and sperm cells. The egg from the females and the sperm that from the male body. To transport and sustain these cells. So they can transport into the different parts and sustainability will be there. To nurture the developing offspring, the offspring which we develop, the number of the chromosomes, right? X chromosome, Y chromosome, 46 pair of chromosome that we can say. And to produce hormones. If this kind of activity sometime ever happen to your body, hormonal imbalances sometime, mostly if we see with the females, that hormonal imbalances comes a lot, and that will lead to the different diseases, different illness to their reproductive system. So this is the need, guys. Why do we need to reproduce? To ensure survival of the species, to produce egg and sperm cells, to transport and sustain these cells into the body, and to nurture the developing offspring. So we can nutricize it, that offspring that develops inside your body, and to produce hormones. That is the need that the target cell needed when the hormones get released, so they can produce in a right way. So go to the next slide now. The male reproductive system. So if we see that the large intestine from here, the large intestine that ends here. If you go slightly down inferior, so there is a seminal vesicle. Seminal vesicle. Then we have a gland. This gland is here, you can see that we call the prostate gland. So sometimes this prostate can be increased or some water can be full after the age of 50 as the muscular strength of this area can be get weakened. Or it can be happen in the early age too sometime when you have lifting some heavy weights or not creating any muscle strength inside your inguinal region. Rectum is here. So at the base we have a rectum. Then we can say there's a vast difference here, the outer layer. Then the penis you have that connects to the urethra, and you have a testis, and in the testis, on the base of the testis we call scrotum, right? Scrotum, and the inner lining, the membrane that we call the epididymis. This is just a basic knowledge that what are the component of the male reproductive system. But basically if we talk about the two or three main component that we call the testis, your penis and urethra. So that considered the organ of the excretory system that releases your urine outside to from here. So that is how it designed that the different organs, the large intestine we have, seminal vesicle we have, in the deep if we go, then if we go slightly downwards we have prostate gland over there, then we have on the base rectum, then the testis, then the urethra, penis, and vas deferens. So these are the components of your male reproductive system. So if we go to the next one now. So function of the testis, everybody have in the males, if we're talking about the male reproductive system, we have a testis here. So what is the function of the testis? It produces sperm. The first thing, where it stores, the sperm stores in your testis and it produces when it needed to go to the match with the uterus and your fallopian tubes and form the egg there. So sperm releases by your testis. Also known as testicle and gonads. The other name we say the gonads, the sex organs, and the testicles because it's in the pair. So we call testicles and gonads too. and the main function, it produces your sperm. So this is the main function of your testis, that this is the storehouse where it stores, and from here it releases and then it travels to your female reproductive system, and also known as testicles and gonads. So if we go to the next slide now, so duct system, this is the duct system where it stores the ducts, right? So vast difference that we have discussed, that in the upper layer, in the male reproductive system, this is in the upper part on the right side, and we can say epididymis, this is the layer, right? The epididymis, the layer inside the membrane inside your testis. So vast difference, it transport mature sperm, right? It transport mature sperm to the urethra, to this part. So the sperm that matured, that only transfer to the urethra. So by this, they can enter to the female reproductive system. And where does it mature? Because we say this is the testis here, right? The testicles, the testis. Where does it store? It's stored in this inner membrane that we call the epididymis. So sperm mature in epididymis, inside the testis, the membrane or the layer. Where does it stores? So this is the function of the vas deferens, that it transports the mature sperm to the urethra, through where it enters to the female reproductive system. And where the place, where does it get stored? That stores inside your epididymis, the membrane inside your testis. So these are the functions of the duct system. So this is the duct. As we connect the duct into the house, just to exhaust the things over there, whatever the things which we don't need, that can be transferred and enters outside. Here it enters to the female reproductive system. So the next slide, if we go through, guys, that seminal vesicles that we have used, that here is something inside. This is the base of the rectum here, then the intestine, and here is the seminal vesicle. So it attaches to vas deferens. So from here it attaches to the vas deferens here. So it produces the sugar-rich fluid. It produces the sugar-rich fluid that provides energy to sperm. If there is no energy to sperm, it delivers late, right? Or maybe it can be dead, right? It can be dead. And the sperm that enters to the female reproductive system, to the uterus, and from the egg, the blastocyte there, it has to be energized, refertilized over there. So this is the seminal